But to go to the next level and be the top players, you really have to hone in on that. Anything from above chest height, I'm usually going to be backing up a little bit. If I see it bounce anywhere from the middle of the kitchen towards the back, and especially if it's a little bit higher, those are ones that I like to speed up. So I realized I had to make some adjustments.
This is Hurricane Tyra Black, currently ranked the #5 women's doubles player in the world. And in this video, you're going to step into the film room to see how she reads the game in real time. Then you'll join us on court to learn the drills and patterns behind her elite defense, hand speed, and high pickleball IQ. We're in Pickleball Vision right now. We're going to break down some of your clips from Major League Pickleball. And so the first one we're going to look at is around defense. I think your ability to change your court positioning fast and also just to read where the ball is likely to go. Your anticipation is top tier. And then not to mention, you're obviously a fast player. You get to the balls quickly. How do you know when you should move back versus when you should be moving forward? So like, we'll go and do it again. It's like you move forward here. So why did you move forward there right off the bat?
I've played with Georgia so much. I really trust her drops, and I'm just kind of watching the trajectory of the ball. So the second I see she's hitting a heavier one, I know it's going to drop. I like to move up. I know I have good defense, so most people start to back up at that point, but I really like to go in and crash as soon as I can.
Are you reading the quality of the return as well? Or do you always just like, it's Georgia, I think she's going to make it, I'm probably going to move forward here?
I just know Georgia has great drops, so I'm trusting them. We've trained and practiced so much together. I usually know where she's hitting most of her shots. We've worked on that a lot together, so we have specific shots we're going for on the court, and sometimes, like when I know she's backing up there, we have our middle drop, which is a really easy one to poach off of. Yeah. So the second I know she's hitting the ball there, I'll start to press forward.
Why do you think it's easier to drop middle versus, I don't know, say she drops cross here to the left side player's backhand?
It's tough to hit that inside out sometimes. It's still a really good shot, but sometimes it gives them a bit more of an angle versus when you drop middle, there's not as many options for them and they still have to lift the ball up through the middle of the court. So for me, once I get up to the kitchen, it's really easy to take that next ball.
How important is it for you and Georgia to know where each other are hitting your drops? I'm just thinking like a rec player is out playing open play and they charge the kitchen on the third. Like you're hitting the third, I just charge, and I have no idea where you're hitting the ball. Just talk a little bit about like the importance of knowing, and maybe if you were playing with a player who you didn't know where they were going to hit the ball, how would you approach the approach towards the kitchen?
So if I was playing with a partner I didn't know as well, I probably wouldn't move forward as soon. Sometimes, like especially when I first started, I didn't think it mattered where you really hit your drops, but if you know where your partner's going, it's a lot easier to kind of know what you want to do with the next shot. If I see my partner's kind of popping the ball up or something, I'm going to usually take a step back. And then if I see that it's a good shot, especially like with Georgia, I know it's going middle, I'm just going to press in right away. If you're not watching your partner also, if I just ran in and didn't look back at Georgia and I didn't know if she's hitting a drive or a drop, I'm putting myself in a pretty bad position on the court, I think, and it's going to be a lot easier for someone to attack me or pass me.
So your head right now is literally turned at Georgia, seeing what her next ball is, and then let's see what happens next. Okay, so you start, and let's just watch you. You start to take a step back here. Why?
I saw that she was kind of reaching a little bit, so I wasn't sure if she was going to hit a great drop, so I thought I'd take a step back to give myself a little bit more time. I mean, that's why I like to take that split step, so I know kind of what shot they're hitting, because if I get past, that's honestly on me, not just my partner if they hit a bad drop, because I was running in too soon and I wasn't paying attention to where the ball was going.
So really what I'm hearing you say is there's fault on both players, almost in all situations.
Yes.
Yeah. Why did you choose here to lob this ball? So let's see here. So you're going to back up. You chose to lob this one right here.
Me and my partner were both in no man's land, and I wasn't quite sure what my opponent was going to do with the ball, so I just decided to give us both a little bit more time and just throw the lob up there so we could both back up. And if I hit a good lob that went over her head, we could both move up to the kitchen. So it was just to kind of get us out of that bad spot on the court.
I've noticed you do this maybe more than any other player I've seen. And it's such a unique play because most people would probably just go for the reset. And is that a super intentional thing that you've thought about and maybe trained over time, or maybe you just developed over time?
I throw up a lot of lobs, but usually if you're starting to back up into the midcourt, it's because your opponent's usually attacking you. So they're usually going to be pressing the kitchen line a little bit more. So I know if I throw up that lob, they're not really going to be expecting it. And you can kind of see she's off balance there.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if something like that happens, now she's backing off the line and now I can either back up. If it went over her head, I can just press the kitchen line. I feel like it can just put me and my partner in a better position. If you're playing against most tennis players, you don't usually want to throw up that lob.
Okay.
Some of them have great overheads. It can be a little bit scary at that point, but most of the time I'm aiming for like certain spots on the court. If I see Megan's pressing a little bit more middle, I can throw it up a little bit more cross court, or Annalise in front of me, I can lob it straight towards her backhand so she doesn't really get that good overhead angle. What's
likely your next decision here if you throw up a lob? Are you thinking drop, or are you thinking like rip it?
It really depends on how good her overhead is. Some people, I've gotten a lot of errors off of my lobs, which is kind of crazy actually. So sometimes I just like to wait and see what she's going to hit next. If she's letting the ball bounce, I'm most likely going to run up and press the kitchen line again.
Okay, so you're saying ball bounces, both you and Georgia are then going to like reclaim court position back to the kitchen. Ball doesn't bounce here. Let's actually see what you did. Yeah, so you drive the next one. I'm interested here. So why did you both not move up after you stayed back and hit? Let me back this up a little bit. Let me go slow motion here. So ball's going up for a lob. Okay, so you drive the first one and then you reset there, but you both don't. Georgia takes a few steps forward, but you stay completely still. Is that because you felt uncomfortable to move forward here?
I just knew I hit the last shot. And again, I wasn't too sure what I was gonna be doing with that drop. So I figured that she was gonna be hitting the next one to me. So Georgia could press forward a little bit and I would just get ready to hit the next third and go from there.
Okay, so then this one you felt more confidently move forward. This is interesting. So you reset the last one, stayed back, ball comes here, and immediately after contact, you're forward. Is that because you knew you hit it pretty well, or you knew you hit it to a backhand? What made you so confident to move forward here?
I felt like we were both in a good spot. I saw Georgia moving forward a little bit. So when I was hitting my next drop and I felt like it was a better one, I realized that I could start to crash because I knew Georgia was up with me. Versus if Georgia's back, if I start to press forward all the time, they're usually going to take the next ball back to her. So if I see that I'm hitting a good shot and we're both moving forward, I know it's going to put a little bit more pressure on our opponent to hit a better shot. And we're most likely going to get a pop-up, or she's going to try and attack us some of the times.
Yeah, and we saw right there, an error right there. All right, so we're in Pickleball Vision, and the cool thing, I know you've used Pickleball Vision in watching your own game film, is you can go to the Shot Explorer here, then you can actually filter out specific shots. And so we have you and Augie, and we're gonna do just 3 shots before and 3 shots after. And then in order to look at some of the hand speed stuff you're talking about, let's look at some speed ups that happened in this game. We'll filter this. Okay, so let's watch this clip. Okay, so you speed the ball up with your backhand here, and then you get into a hands battle. Before the hands battle started, what made you decide to attack here?
I felt like the ball was high enough for me to attack. So when I see the ball's like bouncing a little bit higher, that's when I'll start to like turn. I realize that I can speed that one up. I think I hesitated a little bit on this one. I didn't hit the best speed up, but I got ready for the next shot quickly, and that's the one that kind of set up the put away.
Okay. So one of the things you're really conscious of is how high is the ball, if you're taking it off the bounce, how high is the ball bouncing?
Yes.
How much do you take into account the depth of the ball? Like closer to the net versus maybe closer to the kitchen line? Is that something you've thought about when it comes to speeding up off the bounce?
Yes, so usually if I see it bounce anywhere from the middle of the kitchen towards the back, and especially if it's a little bit higher, those are ones that I like to speed up.
Okay.
If I see that the ball's going maybe past the kitchen line, those are the ones that I kind of take out of the air and speed up. So I think that's a really important thing too. But when you see the ball's a little bit higher, you know it's also, when it lands, it's going to bounce a little bit higher too, and those are the easier ones to speed up.
Yeah, so you're making an observation prior to contact, or prior to the ball even bouncing.
Yes.
And then you're making that decision. And so here you speed the ball up. And then, okay, so take me through your thought process. One common error I've seen with amateurs, inexperienced myself, I think anybody who's played for a long time has, is thinking that the speed up is the winner. And so when you're speeding the ball up, what's your mentality? for what's coming next?
So in this point specifically, I saw that she was kind of backing off the line a little bit and she was getting ready to sit. So I kind of went a little bit more off pace and rolled it down. That way she had to like lift the ball up a little bit more. And that kind of set up the next ball that I attacked. And then that got the put away to my forehand.
And when you first started to where you are now, your swings are very compact. You know,
Yes.
I feel like you're in front. How did you start acting in hands battles when you first started, and then this adjustment you've made over time has become more compact? But can you just walk me through that for anybody at home watching who's trying to get faster hands? This is probably something they could take away.
So coming from tennis, I obviously had a bigger swing than you probably should have on the pickleball court, and I was playing against some of my friends actually who had some very hot paddles when I first started, and I was not reacting fast enough, and I was getting hit with a lot of those shots, unfortunately. So I realized I had to make some adjustments, and they told me that I needed shorter swings so I could react quicker. Because the bigger my swing is and the bigger my finish is, the less time I have to react to the next ball. So from there, I kind of just started punching my volleys a little bit more. So if I just punch here and finish that, by the time they hit the next ball back to me, it's easier to switch versus doing this whole swing. And then by the time they hit the next ball at me, I can't really react towards it.
The level you're playing at, is it true to say that most hands battles don't end within the first shot?
Yeah, it's very rare for that to happen. I see a lot of people, they're trying to go up to the next level and they play and they're like, well, these shots usually work against the other people I play against who are a little bit lower level. And they think just because they hit some winners occasionally that that's going to work against everyone. But if you're playing against those lower level people and those shots are working, you need to get out there and drill and working on your second counter, because when you start to play higher level, the balls are going to start to come back even more.
You're seeing a lot of success in MLP and also in the PPA. What's the skill or maybe the mindset that took you the longest to learn?
I think a lot of patience on the court, especially coming from tennis. I kind of wanted to speed everything up and just kind of slam my way through everything, but you really have to work the points and really set up and wait for that right ball. Some people have a super low ball and they just get really antsy and just want to speed it up, even if they're off balance or backing off the kitchen line. You really have to stay patient, just keep working the point. The soft game is really important. Again, like when I came in, I was just trying to speed every ball up. I'm like, I don't need to dink. I don't need to do any of that. And I had pretty fast hands, so I got away with a lot of it. But to go to the next level and beat the top players, you really have to hone in on that and work on those the soft game.
How do you practice for the next level when the thing that you're working on, right, or the way you're playing right now is working?
Yeah, a lot of people say they don't get good enough games and they don't get to work on those things just because they're playing against lower level people, but you can get out there and drill those things and just really work on it like that. I have a lot of friends who've kind of come into pickleball from tennis and they're like, oh, well, I qualified for these tournaments just slamming every ball, like I don't need a dink, and then they go in and get killed first round in main draw because they never really worked on the dinking and these people are just out dinking them on the court. But at some point, you have to realize just because they work against those lower level players, it's not going to work against everyone. And you have to start working on your game and work on everything. Even if it means you lose a few matches, it's worth it overall to just kind of help yourself improve and get to the next level.
We're going to show you some drills around how to improve defensively and then go into Tyra's mind about how she thinks about court position changes, how she thinks about defending tough shots, what she's doing with paddle positioning, paddle angles. And this drill, we call it the drill. It's a drill we use inside of our online pickleball school. And so it's a little bit like this. Tyra's going to be back around the mid-court area. Tyra's going to feed a ball that in your head or maybe out loud would make you say, oh. And so when that happens, a lot of people, well, actually, let me ask you real quick before we even go. When you pop a ball, what's an error that you've seen a lot of amateurs make when a ball gets popped or they hit a shot they didn't intend to make?
I think no split step is a big one. They just get stuck in that one spot and don't move, and then they're not getting ready for the next ball. Or also just standing up straight without putting their paddle out in front also.
All right, so we're gonna go live right now. And the first thing you should look for when watching Tyra pop the ball up, which she's gonna do intentionally to practice this, is watch for her split step, watch for her paddle position, and just body position. Nice. What made you decide to charge a little faster there?
I saw that that was a better drop and it was staying a little bit lower and you were reaching, so I realized I would get a ball to kind of come in and attack.
Nice. Yeah, it feels like anytime you got me reaching or maybe slightly off balance, I'm sensing you're changing court position fast.
Yes.
Versus anything up here, it feels like you're staying longer. Is that accurate? Waiting for me to have to reach later? Is that what
Yeah, so even if I get the ball to bounce back here and I see someone's about to speed up, I actually press a lot of the time. It's something you don't see a lot of people do. I've kind of told a few pros about that and they tried out and actually really liked it.
Can we walk through that? Tell me exactly what you mean. So you've hit a reset and then...
Yeah, if I hit a reset and I see they're turning and setting up, they're usually taking a step off the line. When they have to hit this ball, they're gonna drop their paddle face. They're usually doing top spin, right? So when you're hitting top spin, the ball's gonna lift a little bit higher over the net. So if I'm running in and I see the ball's lifting, it's usually gonna be up here in my strike zone. And they're really not expecting you to come in off that shot all the time. And they feel some pressure too. And that's usually when I go in and just kind of crash on the next one.
Yeah, okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, I think when I was first starting, it was really hard to understand when to change court position. Is there a ball height? Because you probably stuck back, if we show the replay right now, you probably stayed back for 5 or 6 balls in a row. I think they were all around shoulder height that I was taking. I didn't see you move court position. And then you moved court position, it seemed like again when the ball was maybe slower trajectory, or like you said, maybe I was caught like trying to speed one up off the bounce. So is there a height that makes you say, I'm gonna stay still? Or is there another height that makes you say, I'm gonna retreat? And is there another height that says, I'm gonna move forward?
So if I'm starting at mid-court and I see if they're hitting anything probably from above chest height, I'm usually going to be backing up a little bit because they can hit that ball down at my feet. But if I see I hit it a little bit shorter and they have to kind of like reach in or lean in for the ball, that's when I start to push forward. And again, if they have an overhead, I'm backing all the way up. Sorry, I'm going all the way back.
Yeah, and it feels like when you pop a ball up or your partner pops a ball up, it doesn't really seem like you ever panic. Is that true? Like, are you even when you pop a ball up, are you like, it's okay, I'll get the next one back, I'm gonna be calm? Is that your approach to it? Or?
Yes, so before I play any match, I make sure I warm up a lot of resets. That's probably the main thing because I know I'm gonna have to be defending a lot of shots. I know I have so many reps in, I've done the drills so many times, especially just like throwing the ball up, that I kind of know what shots they're gonna hit and kind of can anticipate it pretty well. Some people only see it in match play, so when they get out there, they kind of freak out. When you're in the middle of the match, you have some nerves too, and you don't know what to do, and usually don't hit the best shots. But if you can get a lot of reps in and stay calm, you can usually hit a higher quality shot.
Cool. One additional question. So if you're in the midcourt and you're seeing a ball up, how do you think about your technique as far as resetting the ball? Like it seems like sometimes you do go one, kind of a slice ball, and then sometimes I see you go two. How do you decide which one you use?
So it usually depends on what shot they're hitting. If I see someone has a little bit more power, I'm usually going to put 2 hands on so I can have a bit more control, versus it's tougher to control with the one hand sometimes. Also, if I'm moving forward, sometimes I'll just use the one hand to get ready in case I attack the next one. But it really depends on what shot my opponent's hitting. So again, if I see they have a higher ball and they're using a little bit more power, I'm usually going to put 2 hands on. If it's a softer, slower one, I'll use one hand.
Like we talked about in film, sometimes you don't opt to reset it when you're in the midcourt and you do just send it up. Like I've never seen I don't think I've seen anybody do that. But why do you do it?
So especially in mixed, if I see the guys really pressing and they're both on the line and they're really attacking me and I kind of have to move back, there's not a lot I can do. I can try a reset, but again, it's tough to control that when they're hitting really hard at you. So when I see someone's leaning in, sometimes I'll just throw up that lob to give me and my partner a little bit more time to kind of reset the point a little bit and to get them off the line.
Are you aiming to get me into a certain area when you do hit the lob?
So one of the best strategies when I lob for me is when I throw the lob up, get them a little bit further back, and I get ready to drive the next ball.
Okay, it's like a little 1-2 combo?
Yeah.
Yeah, even just the lob, like that one was so high, my head went up and my perception of you actually went away. Like I had no understanding of where you were at anymore. So seeing you wind up for a forehand was actually kind of like, oh shit. You know? How do you decide whether, like right now you were just blocking one, and I know your flick is with one, but I also see you a lot of times going two with your backhand specifically. How do you know which one you're gonna use?
So the majority of the time I'm using one hand just so I can cover a little bit more of my body. If I see that the ball's a little bit slower, I usually put 2 hands on to have a little bit more power so I can attack it a little bit better.
Okay, so basically it's a pace thing?
Yes.
Talk to me about your starting position, because in the film you said you prefer to start center, where I actually sit more backhand. And so I'm more susceptible to somebody hitting me high shoulder or chicken wing, but you're like, no, I start here. Why do you do that?
I just prefer to start out in front. That way I can turn a little bit quicker to either or side. Because if I'm just turning here and someone gets me over here, it's going to take a lot more time to try and twist and swing. It's most likely that they're going to catch me over here. So I'd rather stay in front, wait a second longer, than just be able to turn to either side.
How far away is the paddle from your body? Like if you can look at the side angle, are you like pretty close? Are you farther? I see some people like stand like, not necessarily pros, but you'll see a lot of people stand like this in rec play. How do you think about that?
I think it's just in between. You want to keep your arms pretty loose out here in front. You don't want to be like too stiff out here. You kind of lose a lot of control on the ball, I think. If you're too close, again, it's really tough to swing. So I just try and start out a little bit in front, keep my elbows bent a little bit, and that way it's easier to turn versus if I'm in here, it gets a little bit tougher, right? So just out here, keeping the paddle in front, always split step and then turn to either side.
Okay, let's do this. We'll go one step further. This is a drill that you all can use at home. We'll just go figure 8. So I'll go forehand cross your body, and then you'll go down the line, and then I'll go cross. So you'll stay down the line, I'll stay cross. And we'll just go cooperative to start. And I do think like this is a really good drill for what she was just saying. You can work on the flip and guarding both sides of your body. Your swings are compact. I don't think follow throughs get enough love because sometimes you like, even if you're compact, you could be on the ball and feel like you're gonna hit the winner and then you finish too long. What's the downside to a long follow through?
If you have a long follow through, by the time I finish that, especially if I'm hitting a hard shot, if you're in a hands battle and you have that long follow through, by the time that next ball comes at you, you're not gonna have time to react. So you're most likely gonna get stuck. So for me, I just kind of punch right out in front. And from right here, it's really easy to just go back to my ready position. I can switch to either side versus if I do this, the next ball's coming back at me, most likely gonna get stuck or getting a chicken wing there.
So you're constantly thinking about what's happening in this shot and then what's coming next?
Yes, always ready for the next shot. A lot of people, especially when they do that big swing, they think the point's over or they just went for a winner. And they're not ready for the next shot. For me, you have to expect that everything is coming back and just keep working the point.
In the film we were talking about, a speed up is a setup. It's not usually gonna be a winner once you get to a certain level. And so right now you're on the left side. Is there combos that are in your head that like once you speed a ball up, the ball's probably going to a specific spot next? And how do you think about that? How do you practice that?
It really just depends who you're playing against. Like a lot of girls on the right side kind of back off the line. So when I see something like that, sometimes I'll do more of an off pace to kind of roll it down at them. So the second she backs up and she's already turning, if I hit that off pace, it's almost like an aggressive dink / speed up. And that way it's dropping here. And it's really tough for her to go from this to swing out in front. She's most likely gonna have to lift that ball up. And that's when I'm getting ready for my next forehand or even backhand to kind of just put pressure and put the next ball away. A lot of the time I actually do the shot out of the air rather than off the bounce because I hold the line a lot more than a normal player. So especially with my flick, the second they start to back up there, I usually just kind of roll it down at them. It's the same thing if you're backing up with the backhand roll. You're just kind of rolling it down over there and they're gonna most likely lift it up or get stuck. It's tough to hit a high quality shot from right there.
The next one you're looking to put away?
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. So let's progress this to another level, which is I cannot attack, I can only counterattack. So you're gonna attack whenever you feel necessary, either out of the air or off the bounce. And so we'll just see what your combos look like. And everybody watching, when she attacks, just notice how it's the body position is always gonna be ready for the next one. I mean, we're gonna find out. Nice. Nice. Well, that's nice. I mean, even that shot right there is just so slow and spinny. I'll just give you a few more. Nice. You probably lean more than any girl. I can't think of anybody that leans as much as you. Is that how you've always played, or did you get encouraged to play more like that?
I think I just started off playing with a lot of guys, I think, and they do that a little bit more than the girls do. I just had pretty good reach. When I first started, I worked on taking a lot of balls out of the air, which I guess is something not a lot of people really work on in pickleball. So from there, I just started taking a lot more, staying a little bit lower. Even the dinks, taking them out of the air. When I played against the top players, they're a little bit confused and didn't know what to do when you're taking the ball out of the air, especially from like the right side. They're really not expecting you to hold the line, and they're really expecting your partner to hit a really aggressive shot. So sometimes I'll actually come over and poke the ball in front of them and just reach in, and people aren't ready for it. It's kind of crazy how many winners I've actually hit through the middle with that shot. You don't always think it's gonna work, but it works a lot more than you'd think.
You dink, you can only counterattack, I'll speed up at some point, and then we'll battle from there. Nice. 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 Did that one get you a little bit, or did you have to flip, or like what made that one more difficult, or did you just miss?
It was a bit of a flip. I couldn't decide if I wanted a scorpion or a backhand up there, and I ended up with the backhand, but I don't know.
That's good. I mean, it happened fast. I mean, it was also just a great speed up.
That was probably a scorpion, but I did not do that right.
Nice. Nice. How'd you know?
I saw you turning and kind of lifting up. If you see someone's gonna hit topspin, you know it's usually gonna be a little bit higher. So that way you can just kind of lift up there.
Oh. Yeah, nice. Nice.